Today on CFN Live, Lauren Murphy's inspirational story of faith and defying the odds. We'll talk to Lauren and her mom, Colleen, who wrote the book, Murphys Don't Quit.
Now back to Colleen.
Thank you, Monsignor. Well, now we head to the Gateway to the West. Joining us from St. Louis, Missouri, are Colleen and Lauren Murphy with an amazing and inspiring story of faith, love, hope, and boy, big family there. Colleen's book is Murphys Don't Quit, 5 Keys to Unlocking Hope When Life Seems Hopeless. Thank you both for joining us. I'm so happy to talk to you. This really is a wonderful book. And you are just sharing your family story, Lauren's story, from when it started, April 19th, 2013. Colleen, tell us about that date.
Sure. So that's that, I got that phone call that every parent dreads. And, I received a call from a Los Angeles detective. Lauren was on a business trip. She lived in New York at the time. And he let me know that Lauren had been hit by a car and was critically injured. Now, when I got that call in St. Louis, I had only, a few minutes to, figure out what to do with the other 6 kids and hop on the first plane I could out of Lambert Airport. And, life changed that day. We kind of like, that's the first chapter of my life. And April 19th became the second chapter. And, we just had to go into survival mode and, now what?
Yeah. As you went to California, you had no idea. The doctors weren't even giving Lauren much of a chance early on for survival, telling you these things. She wouldn't be able to walk or talk or feed herself. And Lauren, there you are, sitting there right now, proving all the doctors wrong.
Yeah, there
I'm here.
Double Skype's not always easy.
Yeah,
no, I didn't want to cut her out.
So it's so great to see you sitting there because this is a difficult story. You've had to work so hard for all these years, and now, actually, Colleen, tell me about aphasia, because it is something that Lauren has, and I don't know if a lot of people know about it.
Yeah, no, a lot of people don't, because it's pretty isolating, and it's caused by damage to the brain, and it's very common with strokes. I think it's something like 67% of people that have had strokes have some sort of aphasia. Comes in many forms. Some people have problems finding words but can understand everything. Some people have problems with numbers. It's just basically a communication disorder. And Lauren's was caused not only because of damage to the brain, but that part of her brain was removed. One of her brain surgeries, they removed a large section of her left temporal lobe, which houses the language center. And Lauren was nonverbal for, she could say just like, good morning, how are you? But it was probably a good 2.5 years before we could actually have a conversation. I could figure out her needs and whether or not she was hungry or, whatever, but she couldn't say something specific. I had to order her food for her. It was really, really tough. And aphasia it's a beast. It's very slow moving. All of Lauren's language ability is based on rewiring of the brain. And, the fact that she was young was, the best thing going for her at the time. That's the only thing the doctors told us early on is she's young, we'll wait and see. That was the only positive they would give me at the early days.
Is it something that you continue to have to work with the rest of your life, Lauren?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, you do
I do speech therapy.
She's still
do speech therapy twice a week.
Yeah, we're 8 years out and we're still doing speech therapy, and she's at a point now where she's really doing well and pretty conversational, but, she's a real go-getter and it's never enough.
Go getter.
So we just keep moving forward.
Lauren, as you sit there, nobody would even know that this is 4 brain surgeries later, and always the possibility of seizures. Colleen, if you can go back and just tell us the amazing support that you and your family and the support your kids. I mean, there were 6 other kids at home. All the support that everybody gave Lauren.
Oh yeah, so that is really what kept my husband and I going. And my kids went through Catholic schools their whole life, and as you know, that Catholic family network is huge and it knows no bounds. And we had prayer chains early on that every hour of every single day, someone was praying for Lauren, which was crazy. And I didn't even know about any of this until months later because I was so busy, in LA with Lauren. But a week after Lauren's accident was my son's confirmation. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that was something I would have missed. But so many people showed up for him, and we're praying constantly for our whole family. And I couldn't have done what I did with Lauren, moving all over the country trying to help piece her back together if it wasn't for all the kind acts and love that people gave us for our other kids. They cheered extra loud at soccer games, and they made sure that somebody was there when my husband and I couldn't be there for them.
I loved early on when you first got to the hospital, and Lauren's coworker, who you really didn't know, and I don't even think knew Lauren very well, and she left you a rosary. A person who really didn't know you, but you got that rosary when you really needed it.
Yeah, and that was my lifeline. That's all I had, on those early days. That was the first thing I did every morning, and, then the first thing I did every afternoon and every evening. And, it really became my anchor.
Well, there was a beautiful, towards the end of the book, because you talk about God. And I think in these times, a lot of people are like, okay, God, where are you? And you were constantly praying, God, fix her, fix her. And at the end, you just say, he was with you all along, every step of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I knew even in those early days, when things were like so bleak, God was with me in that ICU room, and I knew that I wasn't alone. And, that old, I don't know if you remember that old church song, they still play it. You are near. Yes. Yahweh, I know you are near, standing always at my side. That was the song that was kind of the soundtrack to my life. And I heard that over and over and over again in that hospital room. And I knew he was there. And I knew that he was the one that was guiding me every step of the way. He's the one that helped me find every specialist. And, I was just, thank God I had my faith. I often wonder, what do people do in these situations without faith? I can't imagine.
Right, right. I love, also you had a doctor who told you, and I'm going to keep this, find the positive. Always find the positive, which you guys have been doing when there have been a lot of difficulties. Lauren now has a career, right? Well, first of all, you went back to running.
Yes.
Which is not just amazing. Like how many things have you been, was it, you do 5Ks now. How many?
38.
38 5Ks.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're back to running again. And also tell me about deciding that, okay, and climbing.
Climbing.
Wow.
Of course, I'd love to climb.
Yeah.
I know, I've tried and can't do it. So that
you
I'm like,
can
wow,
do
that
it.
video's great. So now you're a public speaker, because you know what, your story, you get in front of a crowd, and I think Colleen said, your mom said, you just connect with people. People just want to hear your story, and you connect with them. So you will be continuing now. So public speaking, will you continue with this? I know you probably had to take a break during COVID, but is this starting up again?
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
So, especially with the book release, it's really kind of taken off again, which is nice because we do, Lauren does fine with Skype, but especially with that language barrier, she does so much better in person because she can really connect with people. And whenever we speak, there is always a line a mile long afterwards for people that want to talk to her or give her a hug. And, it's pretty cool as a mom to see that, because 8 years ago, we didn't even know if she was going to survive. And here she is inspiring hundreds of people, with every speech.
And I know, Lauren, you have a website. If anybody wants any other information and to learn more about your story, what's your website?
MurphyStoneQuit.com.
MurphyStoneQuit.com.
I love it. And I there's 5 keys, but I do love that key. Kindness, key number 3, kindness is free. Everybody should remember that every minute of the day, every day.
For sure.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Lauren, for sharing your story with us. Again, the book is Murphys Don't Quit.
Don't quit.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much
Thank you for having us.
So I'm so glad you were here. More CFN Live after these messages.